to Sugar Coated. I'm your host, Adrienne Garland, the CEO and founder of She Leads Media. For far too long, women have been conditioned to sugarcoat their words, their actions, and the way they show up in the world, and to conform to certain cultural norms and ideals. This is inherently designed to keep those who are outside of the norm from gaining power, prestige, wealth, and influence, preventing more women from being recognized and respected as the powerful leaders that we truly are. Join me each week as we dive into raw conversations with remarkable, uncompromising, and inspirational women that will encourage you to strip away your sugarcoating and move boldly in the direction of your magnificent dreams. Hi, everybody. This is Adrienne Garland, and welcome to Sugar Coated. This podcast is all about having conversations about things that are important in this world without any sugarcoating. And today I am hopping on here doing a solo episode. It's going to be a quick one, but I am in the mood to talk to you guys or talk to everyone, excuse me. I had a guest recording set up for today. It's the CEO of a new bank called Piermont Bank. And the reason that my guest was not able to be with me today is because she was on the phone with regulators. So that is a really good excuse for missing the podcast. But we will get to her at another time. And I just can't wait because she is an incredible woman who is the CEO of a brand new bank called Piermont Bank, and they are super focused on helping women entrepreneurs. And you know how much I love women entrepreneurs. So one of the things that I thought that I would talk about in lieu of the interview today was this idea of having too much on my plate. I definitely suffer from this syndrome, and it's because I am so enthusiastic about everything that I'm doing. And I think that a lot of women suffer from this as well. I know that I can't be the only one. I like to consider myself that I am unique, but I know that I'm not that unique. It's universal. I hear it from a lot of my friends and a lot of my clients that there's just so much to do. There are so many courses to take. There are so many books to read. There are so many conversations to have. There is so much research to do. There are so many skills to build. And the list just goes on and on. And that's from a purely, professional perspective. Forget about all of the, housework that needs to be done, all of the care that needs to be given to relationships with friends, families, husbands, wives, partners, parents, dogs, cats, birds, hamsters. One of my friend's daughter has rats. So there's too much to do. And it's like a smorgasbord of things. And I usually have this big plate and I take all of those things and I pile my plate and I pile it too high and I never get to finish all of the things that I have selected to put on my plate. Everything is just too good and there literally isn't enough time. And I'm somebody who needs my 8 hours of sleep, so I'm not going to cut into my sleep time in order to get to those things. So I wanted to throw out there to my incredible audience of listeners, what are some of the things that you find really work for you in order to sort of clear some of those things off of your plate for the time being so that you can focus in and achieve the things that you want to achieve. One of the tools that I'm using, and the reason that I'm feeling overwhelmed is because I have not been using this tool over the last week, but it is a tool called Monday Hour One, and it is something that I'm learning as I am part of the Life Coach School, which is given by Brooke Castillo, who is a podcaster that I admire greatly. It is a time management tool, and it really helps you to think through all of the things, every little bit of the things that you need to do and to get them out of your head onto paper, and then take that paper and calendar it. Now, I have been using this process for a couple of weeks, and what I realized is that getting all of the things out on paper and filling my calendar was also starting to feel very overwhelming to me, because what she encourages you to do is to put things on your calendar that you do every day. Things like, get up, do the laundry. In my case, take care of my dog, Bentley, who is a Newfoundland Landseer, and he is absolutely beautiful. He's 6 months old and already weighs almost 90 pounds. I'm a real dog person and a big dog person. So I take care of Bentley. I feed him. I let him outside. Sometimes I take him for a quick walk. And I do a whole bunch of things in the morning. So I put those things on the calendar, in addition to the fact that I like to exercise, in addition to the fact that I like to have a tiny bit of downtime in the morning where nobody else is up, where I can enjoy my cup of coffee or my cup of tea, whatever mood strikes me, and do the laundry. So I have all of these annoying things that I have on my calendar. And the process behind this Monday Hour One is that when you allocate a certain amount of time to those things, that is the only time that you allocate to them, and then you move on to whatever is next. Now, you can definitely build in time in between for transition time or downtime or whatever, but the idea is that you are in control of what you are doing so that you never do feel overwhelmed. You're almost, guided by your calendar. I really loved that for a couple of weeks. And then what I did is I started removing all of the everyday things that I do, because to stare at those things every day made me sad. I don't like to spend my time doing the laundry, doing the dishes that seem to just pile up every single day. And I do the same thing every day, day in, day out. I don't like to have those things on my calendar because I don't want to be doing them. And, maybe that is an insight that I need to get some help so that those things can be done and I don't have to focus on them. For me, it's just not realistic or practical right now. Anyway, so I also am very much committed to building relationships with different people on a professional level, because I think that relationships are everything, and not necessarily a relationship in order to get something from somebody immediately or to give something to somebody immediately, but rather just to have an incredible network that you can use, tap into, contribute to, etc. now and over the long term. It's so much more important to me that I have really great, solid, strong relationships that stand the test of time. And so I'm committed to having conversations with people that are not transactional. They are in depth. If I don't know somebody, I will have a long conversation with them. I do not like to cut people off. I like to give the conversation a lot of room to breathe. And I like to have, multiple conversations. So if you think about that and you start layering those things on your calendar, it's a commitment and it's a value of mine to build these relationships. But then what happens is, I have work to do. I have, websites to update. I have podcast hosts to communicate with and my team. And I have just brought on a whole cadre of freaking incredible interns for the summer. So I'm, talking to them, getting them up to speed, trying to understand what it is that they want to learn. All of this stuff, like I said, it's so exciting. It's like, going to the cocktail hour and the dessert buffet all at once. I love those two things. I don't always love the dinners, no matter where I am. I like not the happy hour, the cocktail hour, and then the desserts and dancing in between, whatever it is. But it's like just putting it all onto one big ass plate and then trying to not only consume it, but also enjoy it. And those things are not possible. And so I have realized that I suffer from putting too much on my plate. And I do think that this Monday Hour One process, if I, stick to it and I commit to it, I do think that it's going to help me. But I just wanted to reach out to all of you and ask you to, take a screenshot of this podcast and tell me in your unsugar-coated words, what are the things that you do in order to not suffer from this, too much on my plate syndrome or feeling overwhelmed, or how do you accomplish the things that you need to and want to accomplish for your own in service of your own goals and objectives. So like I said, take a screenshot of this episode and hit me up on Instagram at She Leads Media or at She Leads Podcasts and put a comment in there and tell me, what are the tools that you use? What are some of the mind games that you play with yourself so that you don't get to this place of, being overwhelmed and that you are accomplishing everything that you say that you want to do. So what is your greatest tip for not feeling overwhelmed? Just let me know. And the other thing is that, if you've been listening to this podcast, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your listening ear. I appreciate all of the people that take the time to tune in and listen to my interviews, listen to my thoughts. I would encourage you, if you feel the pull, to head on over to iTunes or any of the other places where you listen to your podcast, like Stitcher or Spotify, and please give me a 5-star review and leave a comment. I love to interact with people. I love to understand different perspectives. I love to have conversations that are real. So please do that for me. I would appreciate it very much. It helps me to grow the show and to get my ideas, thoughts, and opinions out into the world. And this is something that I am trying to model for all women. If I can do this, then other women can do this too. So this all just helps to sort of perpetuate that knowledge that women have something very important to say, and that I am modeling this behavior. So please give me a review. Let me know what you think. If you don't like it, that sucks. But I really would like it if some of the things that I'm saying are resonating with you. I'd love for you to even send me an email at adrienne@sheleadsmedia.com. So tune in whenever you can. Also, there's some other incredible shows that are on the She Leads Podcast Network. We have Deb Boulanger, who has a podcast called Life After Corporate. We have Jenny Manpa, who has a podcast called Feminist AF. Elizabeth Miner is launching a podcast. She has her first episode up there, and her second one is coming this week. But her podcast is called Entrepreneurs IRL. In real life, where she talks to real life entrepreneurs about the journey and helps to encourage them to keep going. We also are going to be launching a podcast called Talking for Wellness, All Things Talk Therapy. I am so excited about that because that podcast host is a really great friend of mine, and she is super knowledgeable and one of the kindest people that I've ever met in my life. I love her dearly, and I'm so excited that she's launching her podcast on the She Leads Podcast Network. I am honored beyond belief. And just one more ask or request is that if you do like what you hear on the She Leads Podcast Network and you are inspired by the other women that have created podcasts, this is something that I do. I help you to launch your podcast and get your thoughts, ideas, and opinions out into the world. So if this is something that you are interested in doing, please reach out to me. We can get you, your own podcast. We can get you distributed to all the major podcast distribution points. We can help you to get your incredible ideas out into the world. And we do so with, I think, grace and ease. So please send me an email, adrienne@sheleadsmedia.com. Take a screenshot, share, comment, thumbs up, all the good stuff. Okay, until next time, this is Adrienne. I'm out. the She Leads Podcast Network.